Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And it's been quite some time because, well, due to I was uploading all those my parts of the DVD collection. That's what I want to do first. But well, now I'm back to getting back to do more movie reviews now. Well, with the day that I had today, I needed to watch another. I had to watch a good movie, you know. So after watching this movie, I feel a little bit better now after what the day I had. So, but the film I'm talking about, which I really love and enjoy, um, I know this film gets a lot of hate, which I have no idea why. Well, my brother, he completely dissed the film for one stupid reason, which he's not even. I probably mentioned before, but he has not seen the film, and he has not watched it, and he already disses it because for one dumb reason. But I really love this film. I'll put it as it's an under the radar one, and or underrated, I would say. I think it deserves more love and respect. I know there are some people who do enjoy this film, but the film I'm talking about, which I'm going to review the next film after this, which is the 2004 one. Sorry, just pull it up a little bit, but the film we'll talk about is the 1989 version of The Punisher, starring Dolph Lundgren. And I would say also this is definitely one of my favorite Dolph Lundgren films. Definitely my top 5. I enjoy Dolph Lundgren as an actor after all these years, you know, from all the films he's done. I like some of his direct-to-DVD stuff, especially I like Battle of the Damned and Skin Trade, Command Performance. I liked a lot of his DVD of his. There of course is some I don't like, but yeah. So like I said, there's there's sort of like half of his DVD work I don't like, and there's half of his directed DVD stuff I do enjoy. But of course with Dolph Lundgren, of course with Rocky IV, with his debut, his big breakout role. But then there's like there was like Red Scorpion, I Come in Peace. But I've enjoyed Dolph Lundgren growing up as well. So, but I really love The Punisher, the night from 1989. Some people don't like it. They prefer the other one, which to each their own. But I really love this film. It's a kick-ass, badass. You probably could say over the top, but I'm fine with the action in this film. Definitely a lot of action, and which, you know, with the Punisher is a character I grew up with. I really enjoyed the character of the Punisher. There's other Marvel characters that I grew up with. You know, with my dad, he was also a fan of the Punisher. He loves the Vision, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, of course. You know, I was brought me and my brother. He brought me and my brother grew up with these comics. So one of those I definitely have is the Joe the Punisher, and I have the first appearance. I do have the first appearance of the Punisher. I do have that one, autographed by Stan Lee. I do. Which I'll have to show my that'll be another video sometime in the future. We'll have to show my comic book collection sometime, like all the first appearances I have and wherever my categories I have. So I will have to show that sometime. But the first appearance of the Punisher I do have, and it's autographed by Stan Lee. Rest in peace. But I think Dolph Lundgren, he did a really great job as Frank Castle, the Punisher, and just shows how the Punisher is. You know, it was a guy, you know, with the Punisher, you know, with his family killed, and how overrun with the criminals, and the guy who's been basically, which Dolph Lundgren does, his facial expressions, being emotionless, which it does with the character of Frank Castle. He's basically stripped of his emotions, and he's basically like not saying like a walking zombie though, but just the way how Dolph Lundgren expresses it as playing as the character of Frank Castle, in which he does a really great job as that, a guy who's just given up on everything, which does what the Punisher does. He punishes the guilty. And Louis Gossett Jr., from Jaws 3, Enemy Mine, many other movies. I like Louis Gossett Jr., which he played, he was Frank Castle's former partner, which you get a little backstory that with Louis Gossett Jr.'s character, where he was drinking himself, pretty much drinking himself to death, and Frank Castle came in and basically helped him pick himself back up. They've been partners in the same police force until when Frank Castle's family got killed, and now Louis Gossett Jr. wants to do the same thing to him, but he's been trying to find him ever since. And Louis Gossett Jr. does a really good job in this film, which I enjoy him as an actor. So, and before I get into the story, as for the director, is directed by Mark Goldblatt, which he's only directed 2 films. He directed this film, and then he directed a comedy action film that I do like, which was I'm looking at it. Up here we go. And he directed this film, Dead Heat, with Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo. I enjoyed Dead Heat, and also Vincent Price is in this as well. So these are the only 2 films that Mark Goldblatt has directed, because he's been mostly as an editor, but he's done editing on a lot of good movies. He helped edit on excuse me. He helped edit on The Terminator, Commando, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Inner Space, RoboCop, Predator 2, Terminator 2, Last Boy Scout, Universal Soldier, Starship Troopers, The Rock, True Lies, Bad Boys 2, Hollow Man. He's done editing on a lot of good movies. But this film, The Punisher, and Dead Heat, is only 2 films he's directed. And of course, with the production, with the problems with this film had, it was originally going to get a worldwide release, especially in the release in the United States, but that didn't happen. Which it totally sucks, because had to do with the company of was a New World. Where's the company on this thing? I'm trying to look for the company on this thing. I'll look up in here. That's why I have it on here. Yeah, New World Pictures. Yeah, it was originally slated for a U.S. release in 1989, as trailers were created by New World promoting the film. It was premiered in other countries, but not in the States. So that it was never received a wide theatrical release in the United States due to New World's financial difficulties with its new owners, and not having the interest in the theatrical distribution. So, it totally sucks. Because otherwise, ultimately, this went to direct-to-video. And, of course, when the film did come out, it got negative reviews, of course. It has a 20% Rotten Tomatoes, disagree with that wholeheartedly, and has a 5.79 IMDb, much too low for this movie. And, of course, with the critics saying... one saying that Rotten Tomatoes. Despite the seemingly indestructible Dolph Lundgren with the crossbow, the Punisher is a boring one-man battle with never-ending action scenes. Boring. I can say, number one, this film was definitely not boring. This film was under an hour and a half. It was definitely not boring. It was easily fast-paced. Boring? No, definitely not boring. And then this guy, Christopher Nolan, gave this a 1 out of 5, saying was marred by cheeseball sets and special effects, lame fight sequences, and some of the worst acting ever to disgrace the screen. This guy, Christopher Nolan, what have you been smoking? To say how it's bad action sequences, lame fight scenes. There's a whole lot of great action scenes. With the Dolph Lundgren, he's doing what the character does. He's punching people. He's throwing knives, shooting a whole bunch of criminals, and throwing knives, stabbing. If one wanted, there was a hanging and shooting a whole bunch. Or even one scene with the crime boss Franco. He's with Dolph Lundgren, and when they enter for the elevator, there's a whole bunch of people, guys with swords. They just go wet with the whole entire room, just like that. And lame fight action sequences. I don't know what this guy is talking about. Cheeseball sets. Well, cheeseball sets. Well, this guy is clearly a cheesehead. I could say that. Cheesehead. And some of the worst acting ever to disgrace the screen. Yeah, I don't know what this guy is freaking smoking. Dolph Lundgren, some of the worst acting. Dolph Lundgren acted what a Punisher should be. You know, a guy who's giving up on everything, punishing the criminals, but at the same time, you know, he's isolated himself, but you know, it's just reflecting on what happened to his family at the same time, and it's just kind of sort of self-destructing inside of him, you know. And Louis Gossett Jr., I thought he did a really good job. And the villain, was Tanaka. I thought she did a really good job. As I thought the villain you want to hit as part of the Yakuza, you know, the Japanese mob. A villain you love to hate. And Jeroen Krabbe, which he's if you recognize him, Jeroen Krabbe, he's the guy, one of the mob bosses, named Franco, the Fugitive with Harrison Ford. He's the guy who. He's basically who framed Harrison Ford up until, you know, the fight at the end of the movie. Yeah, that's Jeroen Krabbe, as Dr. Charles Nichols from The Fugitive. So he's in this. I don't know what this guy's freaking talking. That freaking bugs me. Lame fights and worse acting. No. I've seen a whole lot worse acting from other movies that disgraces the screen. This doesn't even touch the total. This doesn't even touch that. And what else? Well, there's a TV Guide. This gave it a positive review. It gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, praising Dolph Lundgren's portrayal of the character. Thank you. And they compared to the characterization of the Punisher to that Frank Miller's reimagining of Batman to The Dark Knight Returns. Well, I haven't seen the Dark Knight Returns, but at least they appreciate Dolph Lundgren's. They say they appreciate Dolph Lundgren's portrayal of the character and compare it to the characterization of the Punisher. And that part, which, thank you, that's what Dolph Lundgren does. He does what the Punisher does. And they further praise the film's atmosphere, calling it genuinely comic book-like rather than cartoonish. I could see that. Yes, I could see it's more comic book-like. Yes, rather than cartoonish. If you want to see cartoonish. Which I'm not gonna review. I'm gonna review the next Punisher, but not the third one. If you want to see cartoonish, watch Punisher Warzone. And I'm sorry, yeah, I say Dolph Lundgren is much better than Ray Stevenson. Yeah, the Punisher Warzone, that's a cartoonish one. So you want to put it that way. This is more comic book like rather than not cartoonish. If you want to watch a cartoonish one, watch Punisher Warzone. That was silly and goofy. You know, he shoots one of those acrobatic ones over the roof and then shooting and then guy just blows up a puff of smoke. No blood or guts or anything. But I'll get to that some other time, though. But yeah, at least there's some praise right there. Yeah, Dolph Lundgren did a great job awesome job as Frank Castle, the Punisher. Louis Gossett Jr., like I said, good. Jeroen Krabbe, who plays Franco, he does good. There's there's an actress who plays Louis Gossett Jr.'s new partner, Nancy Everhard. She plays like the new partner to Louis Gossett Jr., in which I thought she did fine. Which is kind of funny after towards the end, like when Jeroen Krabbe broke Frank Castle out of police custody, she got knocked out, and that was the end of her. She just disappeared after that. But still, Nancy Everhard, within the same year as this film was released, she starred another film within the same year, 1989, and that was also in Deep Star 6. Another film I really enjoy. I enjoyed Deep Star 6, and she was good in that. That was released in the same year as this film did. But I enjoyed Deep Star 6, and she was good in that. And which is funny that right here, this is not in the film though, but this was in one of the deleted one. This scene right here. This is not the theoretical release cut though, but this was in more of the deleted stuff that was cut out of the film, like the beginning. This is like more of the beginning of the movie. Before the theoretical release of this, though, there was a more of the beginning stuff with when Dolph Lundgren was working with Louis Gossett Jr. as cops, and this prostitution who was an undercover cop, and that's Nancy Everhard. So if you want to save it back here, where was this scene right here? That was cut out of the movie for the either the extended or the work print cut. So, but if you ever wondered, yeah. But which he spoke about to Louis Gossett Jr. after later in the film that we met 5 years ago. I was the prostitute, worked 5 years ago. So yeah, it's reflecting to this scene right here. But she did fine. But like I said, after when Dolph Lundgren broke out of police custody, she got knocked out and then just disappeared after that. Never be seen again in the rest of the movie. But she was also been following on the Punisher as well, and it's easily fast. It is easy, fast paced. It's without end credits. It's under an hour and a half, so it's easily fast paced. The action scenes are really great, especially when the opening how it opens up. Even the title sequence of the Punisher has like this bullseye moving up and towards the audience. I like how the way the title sequence is done, and then opens a window with him in the sewer. Dolph Lundgren saying, that telling the guy, why do the innocent die and the guilty alive? And then he goes after this one criminal that who got released, had been acquitted, and goes after him in his house. He gets him, stabs a couple of guys, and then hangs one, and then blows up the person's house. And then Louis Gossett Jr. has been following on Frank Castle ever since, because he knows that he's the Punisher. So, and then with Jeroen Krabbe, who's one of the crime bosses, meeting with other crime bosses, and then is it? I think it's Kim Miyori, who plays Tanaka, who's the leader of the Yakuza. I thought she did a really good job as the bad guy, as Tanaka, and she has like an American daughter that she adopted, who's mute, but he's trained her to be a warrior, and fights like a ninja as well, martial arts. And Dolph Lundgren, he also has this guy who gives him this homeless guy who gives him information where crime is coming, where organized crime is happening. this homeless guy named Shake, played by Barry Otto. I thought he did good. I thought he did fine as well. You know, give him info where the next organized crime is doing business and stuff. Like at the pier where the Yakuza comes in, takes out some guys, and Dolph Lundgren he takes out some other bad guys. Like he shoots one guy where he uses it as a zip tie all the way down, shooting more people, blasting and stabbing one, van going up into the water, but he gets stabbed too though. And he has to cauterize his wound. And with the Yakuza, they want to take over all the other crime bosses' businesses, and which they decline, in which they get their, by not doing that, she goes and kidnaps the children of those crime bosses. It's like shows how, which is kind of like a ballsy thing to do. You know, you kidnap the children, and even when they kidnap the children, like one they pick up from school, or there's one who was like this woman who's babysitting two girls, who's like with this panda bear, and the Yakuza just come in, they just goes and shoot the woman right in front of the kids. Shows how cold and ruthless they are. Like, oh, this babysitter who's reading with the panda with the kids, you know, and all of a sudden, boom, just shoots the woman right in front of the kids, dead. So yeah, and then they want to get their kids back, but they still don't want anything to be associated with Tanaka. So she all but Jeroen Krabbe. Like some of them die from the poison in champagne, and one who didn't drink it, he gets pinned to the wall, and Tanaka just goes and takes the gun, puts it in the guy's mouth, and boom. So this woman you love to hate, and I thought she did a good job as the villain. And since with well, more on that though, and like with back with Dolph Lundgren, when he shoots at this casino, he's shooting everywhere at this casino, and or when you get to this shootout at this amusement park, like inside this fun house, like the back of the fun house, shooting some more guys, but then he gets overpowered, and then he's strapped to the table, you know, being stretched out, and then his well, you see, his guy has no friends, but the guy, Barry Otto, the homeless guy, Shake, he's on the stretch as well. And then when Dolph Lundgren kills two more guys by letting himself and let one of the other doctors strapped down to the table being stretched out. And then he goes and saves the kids from on this bus, and when he gets pulled up, stopped by the cops, he gets put in jail, and Louis Gossett Jr., you know, which you got a good moment with him, you know, he's just like, you know, Frank Castle's dead. And instead of telling him, you know, you want to die too? Or let me in! Let me in! You know, they were my family too, which he was, Louis was referring to, Dolph's family. He's like, they were my family too. Alright, fuck you, and go ahead and die then. So yeah, it's like he cares about Frank though, but he doesn't want to let him to help, and he wants to help though, but Frank's not letting him. But I do like the moment between him and Louis Gossett Jr. And like he gets another nightmare about his family, then taken into police custody. But since Jeroen Krabbe, since his son is still being held hostage, he has no choice but get help from the Punisher. So his man breaks him out of police custody, and like I said, with Nancy Everhard, she gets knocked out and never be seen again. Disappears from the rest of the movie. And so he agrees to well, since he has Louis Gossett Jr., so Frank Castle agrees to it, or at least he's going to shoot Louis Gossett Jr. And then Louis Gossett Jr. gets himself out of the cuffs by being on one guy, and then goes and takes another guy's pizza, slice of pizza. And so Dolph Lundgren and Jeroen Krabbe, they go to the building, and like I said, as soon as they get to the 40th first floor, as soon as they open up the elevator doors, there's this whole room of guys, like in karate clothes or kimonos, whatever, with swords. They just come and start shooting all the guys in the room. Like they all got swords, and they're just shooting guns, just boom, 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 just clears the whole entire room in like 3 seconds. So they shoot more guys, and the power, with the help of Shake, help the power out. And then Dolph Lundgren, shoot more, and he stabs one through the paper wall. And then when he finally gets into a fight with Tanaka's daughter, doing a little bit stuff, combat with Dolph Lundgren, cutting him with blades, and ultimately. Dolph Lundgren just goes and just breaks her neck like a badass. And with Jeroen Krabbe, Tanaka's holding his son, so she tells him to put the gun in his mouth. And Dolph Lundgren jumps through the paper wall and throws the knife, and boom, right into her head. And since he saved his son, but still now that he's the only crime boss left, he has the power to be one of the most powerful in the world. But at the same time, he wants to kill the Punisher, and they both get into a struggle for the gun. And his son is there watching this. Ultimately, his dad dies, and the boy is distraught, and points the gun at Dolph Lundgren, he gets down on his knees, telling him to shoot him, but he doesn't, and he says, you're a good boy. Grow up to be a good man, not like your dad. If you don't, I'll be waiting. And then when Louis Gossett Jr. gets there, and he follows the blood trail and is outside on the top of the building, and he's yelling, Frank! Frank! And then it ends with him back in the tunnel, naked, of course, but that never bothered me, though. Why isn't it? Because how the way the Punisher is, he's isolated himself, and he's all distraught. He's still praying to himself, like, I still talk to God sometimes, wondering if I'm doing the right thing or not. The guilty needs to be punished. Punishing the guilty. So yeah, and one thing that probably the people that complain about this film, which like I mentioned, my brother, he's not seen this film. But he dissed the film for one dumb reason. He already does not like the film because he doesn't have the freaking skull. The Punisher's trademark, the skull. That's the reason why. He likes Dolph Lundgren, but yet he hasn't watched it, he hasn't seen it, but yet he dissed the film because he doesn't have the trademark skull he wears. Which... What's probably some reason why people don't like this one, because he doesn't carry the trademark skull. I don't get what my brother's deal is and how the way he thinks sometimes. And of course he would easily say, even though he's not seen this film, but he would still say that he prefers the Thomas Jane. He prefers this Punisher more, which he's seen this film probably like about 50 times. Yeah. I enjoy this film too. But I enjoy this film as well. Dolph Lundgren, he's a badass as Frank Castle is the Punisher. He does what the Punisher is supposed to do. Like the comics. He punishes the guilty, the criminals. But the stupid reason or why you don't like the film and have not yet seen it and don't like it because he doesn't have the trademark skull. Come on, give me a freaking break. Like I said, this is my brother we're talking about here. He's just... I don't know, we butt heads constantly on stupid shit like this. You know, sometimes he says I'm biased and like this. Which I'll get to this in the next review because yeah, I enjoyed this film because Thomas Jane, he's also a really good Punisher as well. Both of Dolph Lundgren and Thomas Jane are good Punishers. I probably say I like them both as equal because they give the good job on Punishers on their own terms, on their own takes on it though, but they still do the same thing and ultimately punish the criminals. So, but with Dolph Lundgren, just like the way he does, like I said, because he doesn't have a skull. Yeah, I'm really sure. So that's not the reason not to watch the film and diss the film because of that one dumb reason. Which, like I said, people say they probably say the same thing. Oh, he doesn't have the skull. It doesn't matter. He's the Punisher still, and he's doing what he does. He punishes the criminals, the guilty. You know, if you're guilty, you're dead. and with Louis Gossett Jr. when he was in the cell, he's like, when he says that, you know, they're guilty, they're dead. And when Louis Gossett Jr. tells him, like, so how do you account for all the 125 murders? And he says, work in progress. So, I don't know what to say about this. I love this film. It's definitely a badass. This is what Dolph Lundgren, he has a really badass job he kicks ass as the Punisher. He does what the character does. He punishes. All the actions, I don't get that one person who said it was lame fight scenes. Fast paced, he's shooting criminals left and right. He's stabbing people just shooting more and more. You do get some good decent fisticuffs. Breaks that one lady's neck and just throws into Tanaka's head. Throws a knife. Hanging a person, stabbing, whatever, shooting. I just don't get that. And boring? It's not boring at all. It's easily fast paced. I was never bored with the movie. It's, action from beginning to end. And with Dolph Lundgren said, how emotionless he is. The guy is, what happened to his family, he's stripped of his emotions. And Louis Gossett Jr. trying to help him out, which he does a good job too. I enjoy Louis Gossett Jr. Jeroen Krabbe, who plays Franco, I thought he did a good job. Miyori as Tanaka, she was good as well. As Nancy Everhard, she was fine until she disappeared to the rest of the movie. It was good directing by Mark Goldblatt. Which did he also do the editing for this? I forget. Because I know he edited a lot of good movies, but I forget he edited his own movies. But if so, he did a good job with the film. The action scenes I enjoy, easily fast paced. Good, so those are good practical blood squibs. It was always good to see. What else? Like I said, some of the chances they did with kidnapping the children, especially the one babysitter got killed right in front of those two girls while telling the story with the panda bear. It's like, oh crap, Just shows how the Yakuza just don't give two shits about. So, yeah, but I know there's a Blu-ray. I'll pick up the Blu-ray of this for one day. I will sometime later, one day. I will get that. And like I say, we'll probably see the work print of this, because to explain all of the beginning of this when Dolph Lundgren and Louis Gossett Jr. working together as cops before the family tragedy. So, but Dolph Lundgren, badass as the Punisher, is definitely my top 5 favorite Dolph Lundgren films. Dolph Lundgren, he did what the Punisher is supposed to do. He's the Punisher, So, but I really love this film. It's definitely an action film that I really love and enjoy. So, I'll probably say hardly any problems with this film. So yeah, Wish I would love this. Wish this would have got a theoretical release instead of being directed video though. 20% Rotten Tomatoes, 5.79 DB. Highly disagree with that. Much too low for those. I would give it much higher ratings. But yes, but some people still don't like this film. That's fine, but I love this film. I know there's some people that do enjoy the film. That's good. Like I said, my brother, just a dumb, stupid reason. But yeah, but I said my piece on that. But love The Punisher, 1989 with Dolph Lundgren. So badass film. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for my next review for the next Punisher film. From the 2004 film starring Thomas Jane. This is not vengeance. Punishment. So stay tuned for the next review of this. And I'll see you on that review later. And once again, I recommend you give a chance on watching. If anyone is a fan of Dolph Lundgren or a fan of the character, just give it a watch. I recommend it. If you don't like the film, that's fine. But I I would say recommend. I just give it a chance. If anyone's not seen the film, but anyone who likes the film, that's good. Good for you. But I love the film. It's a badass, kick-ass action film and great performance by Dolph Lundgren. Like I said, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next review of the 2004 version of The Punisher. Later.